phone, whatever it's called mode. Hi everybody, we're just gonna go and we're gonna look around the bug room. I just did a big water. I've been giving everything the real big works. Gatos are having a good old time, something in the air tonight, I'm sure. Anyways, so if anybody's even here, we're gonna just have some fun. In fact, I'm gonna go grab people, see if anybody copied this link. What is it? Tuesday night. But anyways, yeah. So we're gonna just peek around at stuff. I'm gonna try to avoid bins that have something like forward fly outbreaks, just for my own peace of mind. But for the most part, things are looking pretty good. What are we gonna look at here? Zen Monkey, Dragon Grimoire, welcome, welcome. First, Jacob Ma, you are not first. We got. You get to see how this all looks, everything all put together. We got the label with the RCID, locality, all that information's right there. It's interchangeable. We've got this culture here. There's actually a couple of isopods in here too that I haven't put a sticky note for on the outside. But yeah, Floridana enclosure, what that looks like. Yeah, everything's really coming out. Paranophita lirata. Charlie Bug says, OMG bugs, I can't believe it. Yeah, we're doing it. Panchlora species Costa Rica, the greens. Uricotis and Prospera, these are clawing their way back from being almost dead a couple of months ago. That happens a lot around here. Sometimes I figure things out and then we don't have problems for a very long time. So I like when that happens. Like these Oxyhaloa, these guys are doing great. Look at them. Who knew Roach Crossing had roaches? Well, now you all know. I'm going to take the attention away from here because the cats are just having a time with something. But what? Maybe a moth that flew into the house? Baloo just looks like he haven't even had any catnip. Must be something in the air. Again, like I said. This is actually the cat litter box when if they stay in overnight, they go in that eublaberous colony and the roaches take care of it. Somebody asked me to taste a roach. Maybe we'll do that one day. Cat cam. So let's see what we got going on here. Here's my favorite roaches to downsell, the CF Capiloi, these cigarette guys. Who else can we look at here? Can look at some lovely snails. The Caracolus are all out right now. Looks like the Marginella. These guys are doing so well for me. Look at them all. Just great. I've had some, we're not going to look at the Neohelix right now. I've had some die-offs in there. But anything from these Pinecrest Gardens? No, they're not out. So I kind of doubt that the Pinecrest Gardens Caracolus are the same species as Marginella because they just behave so differently. Thuria colony. Not much surface activity in there. Ooh, what's going on? Lucky Hermetica over here. The Venezuela's got a little bit of activity. Charlie says, I'm surprised there's any roaches in there. My cats would exterminate anything I left open like that. Yeah, I don't, maybe it's just that they grew up with all the bugs all over the place, or I just got lucky and have the two greatest cats on the planet because they really don't cause many problems. Manman hopped up on a lizard tank once and dented the screen and maybe knocked over like one snake enclosure once, but it's really not a common thing for them to get into too much trouble. Oh boy, this Paraplaneta americana white eyes. And look, they're reacting to the light. So the cockroach ocelli, the simple eyes at the base of their antennae react to light. So that's probably what's reacting. They got a lot of Gynocapucina activity going on. Yo, there's a gray buge on your floor. Where? Oh, that gray buge. This is actually one of the very few times where both of them are in the basement at the same time. This is not very common, actually. So yeah, you know what? Will this be like the first time I've really walked around everything? Is it just gonna happen just all of a sudden like this? Well, I guess so. So I mean, you can kind of get an idea for the scope of the current bug facility. You got all that. You've got all of here. That's half of the room. Here's where my snakes are, and I've got some Dynasties Grantii down here because I don't have enough space for them elsewhere. But these are all from Virgin, Utah, wild caught stuff this year. Here's again a lot of hissers, a lot of feeder species over here. Again, everything is pretty much in 10 gallons. Lobster roaches, and this is a reminder I need to replace this lid. Mixed colonies of stuff. Here's Aileropida going crazy. Earthquake would suck. Yeah, that's why I live in Michigan. So you mostly get your aquariums used on Marketplace? No, no, no. Good heavens, no. I buy them all new, and I pray for a sale. And that's how that goes. Here's LLE Mahogany hissers with a living colony of the Grylotes sigillatus Florida man. I think the Grylotes might be kind of on the downswing right now. I'm not seeing, oh, there's a female ovipositing. How do you do things with mites and fungus gnats with so many tanks? So usually the fungus gnat rove beetles will go between enclosures and just colonize stuff. And then once an enclosure gets sort of settled in, that's it. I don't really worry about mites usually. That's more of something for like micromanaging when I'm trying to raise specific species of springtail. So I don't really usually worry about that. I will move predatory mites around to control grain mites, though. She wants to go in there because I'll usually give her some mice from the mice colonies in there. Amber dubias, you can see, since I don't have any pictures on the site of them, you can see the adults here. Very beautiful. Yeah, let's see what else. What else can we get into? We got great. Whoa, Baloo. We got great company here. Gwenny, that's what the 5 million green spot sales are for. Remember that mosquito bits kill fly larvae. Say for anything that isn't a fly. Yeah, I mean, I can try to work that into something that might be good for. Now here we go. Here's something fun. So these may look like fungus gnats or forward flies or something, but they're actually a bunch of pinheads from Grylis species Camel Lake, Florida. So I don't actually know what species that is, but they're just going nuts in with the black tiger hissers. They're doing very well together. Archimandrita, there's a couple forwards. In fact, there's a dead Archimandrita I'll have to pull out. I'm not going to do it now in there. What else we got? Princessia, the old Cape Cod Roaches stock with the slime mold. There's actually so much stuff in here. There's Armadillidium, there's Cubaris, there's Libidioides ornatus, just a cornucopia and a bunch of springtails, too. Cornucopia of life going on in there. Let's see what else. Chopardi, oh, some forward fly maggots in there. And I tried to use some rove beetles to control stuff too, and that's hasn't really worked. I need to put something outside with rove beetles with a forward fly larvae in it and then see what comes into it and basically try to use that. Rhiparobia. Also, usually don't have fruit fly problems, but I got a bunch of bananas on sale from Joe Randazzo's last week, so everything's been getting bananas. Oh, Blabber's Venezuela getting a little feisty there. Who else? Uricotis Venezuela doing really well. These guys are really taking off. Panchlora species Guadalupe. High humidity. Look at all of the springtails just up the walls. And, of course, the roaches are doing really well. Zootermopsis angusticalis Presidio of San Francisco, California, and they are so cute. Oh, that's what you just got. Cool, TJ. Well, we can look at my Zootermopsis. I don't know what species they are. From Cheshire, Oregon. Oh, that's bad. This should not be italicized. I'm going to have to change that. Oh, what do you know? Somebody's trying to have a nuptial flight in here. Probably because I sprayed water. I'm going to have to scrape that one off there and hope it goes back into the colony here. That's not exactly what I want to see. I'm going to put this down and do some work and take care of the problem really quick here. Go on. Are there any other elates going on in here? Just the one. Okay. Morgina, Cafrorum bisanulata, just activity out the wazoo. Somehow an Agelenopsis got into the Rhabdobladini species Coda kinabalu and made a web, so I just dumped fish flakes on it, and it's not causing any big problems, so I've just left it. It just gets to eat some extra roaches. Here's a Panacea angustipennis cognata enclosure. Just thick as thieves in here, and those are grindle worms, or one of those small where they oligochaetes going on in there, and there's so many of them. So many. Also, for those of you who you may wonder where all my isopods and such are, and how I say, oh, I have so many isopods, oh, blah, 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 but there's like 30 on the website. This is the isopod wall, actually. So this is why I say I have to do isopod duty. It's all of this, and then it keeps going over to here, and then there's some more here, and oh look, we have a little bit of vacant space, but that won't last for very long. So I mean, there's a couple other things here. Glomerous. This is mostly for larger stuff or stuff that I like to have extra of on hand, like a nasodillo or whatever these are now, white tigers, or they troglodylos. Ooh, magic. Here's the magic potions, and I do refine these. I do try to pull the most colorful ones and then restart the colony with that. So that's what's going on here. You get some good magic potions. Haven't I could spend hours just looking at them all. Hoffman's Eggii look like they're out with the water. This water really brought a lot of stuff out. Green laser, I'm failing hard with these. I screwed up with them. These individuals are like a year and a half old, actually, so I messed up. If anybody has green laser, I need to get a restart. Anybody else in good numbers? The Sakinctus are all out. I just refreshed this maybe like 2 months ago, so they're starting to recolonize the bid. Naranyas aren't out. Hilaria, here's some Hilaria coming out. This is the infinite generating Hilaria enclosure. Green spot enclosure. You can see why I have so many of them all the time. No, I didn't. Small Gwenny, I didn't kill the badium. I'm actually good on those. Magnificus, Expansus Witch's Potion. These guys are probably going to have a good number for the auction coming up. Oh, there's a deceased one there, but there's probably plenty on the back bark. And then this is supposed to be Glomerous pustulata, but the orthomorph I put in to kind of keep mold and stuff down seemed to have taken over. But we can still see that there's a good number of pustulata in here if the phone refocuses. So they're actually doing pretty well. I will try to get them just out on their own soon. But you can see right there, there's like 3 of them. And I started with 5, and I think I picked up a couple from Stella's too, so it's good numbers. Pseudornatus, or whatever these are now, the spotteds. Bolivari, tons of. Haasai, tons of. Amber Firefly, tons of. I don't see any out right now. Hoffman's Eggii Orange, there's some mutants in there too, actually. But, yeah, so this is... how many gallons are those tanks? These are all 5.5s. Come on, man. Yeah, these are all 5.5 gallons. And I'm at the point where now what I'm going to have to do is I have to start putting these on top of here, like on a corner, so that they don't put all the weight directly on the screen, but because I'm starting to run out of room down here again. So you guys wonder why I do my husbandry like once a month or less and all that stuff, and it's because this is like a day plus worth of, like, it's a day if I go right through it and I don't have to separate anything out. Oh, there's the Japanese Dalmatians. Do you have them on flake soil? Everything's a mix of stuff. Usually I do a base of yard compost, and then I will add like the live white rod, or I'll add leaf litter, or I'll just kind of pick whatever is needed. And also with these cloth lids, I have, the percent of escapes that I have is near 0. I've had more escapes from these style setups, and I try to arrange it so that dissimilar things are above dissimilar things. So like I would not want a Hoffman's Eggy Eye Orange to fall into like the wild type bin. So that's why it's all the way over here. So, but actually the green spots, I had some problems with those escaping and getting into another bin. I think they got in with the Sakinctus at one point, and then I patched that up. And then I was having Verneri fall into something else too, which was just really funny to think that they were a pest. But Platinum Nucky's not doing so well. I think they like it drier. Let's see who else is species Valencia. Yeah, it's just yes, is species C efficient. Now, some of these labels are also out of touch, out of time. I got to go through and update everything with these fancy labels, which I'll hopefully do this winter. Colby Jack, one of the good Colby Jack sets, and then just a bunch of bulk feeder roach bins. Here's my ones waiting to see what comes to me from Stella's at the next expo. Imagine living somewhere dry cannot be me. Yeah, it would suck. But then I would just have everything in nearly sealed enclosures and go from there. Look at the scabrarium all over the place. Guys, this is going to be a great bugapalooza. I have so much stuff, like from actually putting in lots of care, effort for things. Everything has just exploded. And this is actually the first that I've seen of these species rubber bee dandelions out and about. Like I couldn't even find them when I did husbandry, and now I've watered 2 days in a row and it's brought them all out. Everybody complaining about living in dry places or whatever. I prefer that because, again, I would just restrict my ventilation on everything crazy. St. Lucia's from Orin. I'm not 100% sure on if I trust the stock, but, I got it from Orin, so I'm just keeping it. Murina Glaciers, Red Edge, Equenzu Ocha. Each colony has well over 100 individuals. I think like the average number, Dryadillo wood grains, everything's just out and about. Oh, it's such a blessing to have so many lovely things, so many lovely isopods right now, Capiras and all these things. And people going back and forth, on humidity versus dry. But I mean, honestly, I like it. I like the dryness better. Just some more projects over here. Again, I'm spilling over onto this area, and we'll probably see the monster tokay as we go around. But yeah, look at all the tuberculatus in there. I really love this style setup. Like I can just look at all. I mean, sure, you can pack more in with a different size shoebox, but I mean, to just have the watering ports and to be able to look in and see things like this, I really could not imagine it another way. All the pack chongs are going crazy. Look at that, just the pure pack chongs. Yeah, this is nice. Also, 20 people in here. Remember to like the stream, everybody. Every little bit helps. I appreciate it. Again, I just figured let's just do this. I came down here to pack an order for tomorrow, and I just it's about time. Sitting on my hands and wanting to have everything perfect. It's not about the perfection. It's about the fun and the journey and all that stuff. Tuberculatus. Nazatum Dearborn, which this should actually be no fun. This is the line that I bred the oranges out of. Most wild type Nazatum have oranges. And when I fed these all, whenever it was on the thing back in August at some point, all these were full of fish flakes, and now you can't even tell that I fed most of these. Let's find the badium. They're somewhere over here, I think. Yeah, Castledocia. Maybe I kept them a little too moist. They're doing fine. It's not as dramatic as something like this. These Ornatus witches brews and whatnot. Hassai lights. My species Valencia oranges, I think, are a goner, but there's a whiteout or a leucistic popping up in the ones that I tried to separate with the wild types. So if anybody has the orange Valencias, let me know. I would like them back, but I'll make do for now. Where'd the beetles? Charlie said, I read that green spots need high ventilation, so I stuck them in a high vent enclosure, and bam, mass desiccation. Yeah, if they had a moist corner, they should be fine. That's the thing. Here, look at them. Whoa. You see how they could escape? They've climbed up the water stains and the slime mold trail and the gunk on the sides, and they're up on the lid of the enclosure. That's how ridiculous they are. So yeah, that's that. So yeah, it goes all the way down to the floor. And this isn't to mention that there are also some isopods in with some of the roach cultures. Let's take a look. Here's the crossed out to yellows. Like, I gotta start pulling whatever seems to be yellow in here. I honestly am a little concerned. I haven't seen any yellows, but part of it might be that the humidity is so high. That might be a big factor. Bladdidae species Mount Kilimanjaro. You can see there's lots of them in there. It's thick as thieves. Panethia, Salgania. Here, you guys, you get to finally see how the Salgania make these nice reusable tunnels through the sides. So if you're looking for an ant farm or termite, but a roach, maybe consider Salgania. And of course, we got some Simondoa action going on here. I just saw some mating. Yeah, look at them all. This is great. What great footage. I already took my Instagram video for tomorrow because I'm not going to be in Livonia much, but this would have been a good one too. And no nymphs out. Like, there are tons of nymphs in here, but they're just not out. They just decided not to come out, except for that subadult right there. So, let's see. Whoa, bro, sex. We're going to allow that one. How dry, humid do you keep the Simondoa? Well, you can see right here we got kind of a gradient. They're pretty dry right now, but the room has been humid all summer, so that's why I try to keep them drier. And then here's the CF lemon blue. They're going crazy in with the CF chacoensis, actually, surprisingly. So I think that, like, the lemon blue and the Jupiter, they want high air humidity but low kind of like substrate humidity. Species speckled down there. Bunch of misc here. That label's wrong. I need those again. The Parabolicus from Europe or whatever. I lost them. I need them again. This is actually one of the Uricotus from Golfito, Costa Rica. The larger species. They're doing well. Salgenia incerta. Usually don't see these guys. Usually they're in like little groups of like 3 to 7 buried in. So that's something. We got lots of Uricotus floridana. Those roaches on the bottom. I don't know which ones you're talking about. Lost Vigilant. How do we like this stream? Icon is missing. Oh, I don't even know. I didn't even realize the icon was missing or something. How many species of Panchlora do you have? Okay, Guadalupe, Nivea from Tuscaloosa, which there's one colony here and one colony there. Species Hobby, species Speckled, species Costa Rica, hey blue, species Costa Rica Yellow that I'm currently re-isolating. Where's the other ones? Somewhere over here. Species Redlands, Florida, CF Nivea from a Little Manatee River. Let's see if there's any blue ones in here. There was a freshly molted male that looked bluish. Oh, there's one that kind of had some blue between the wings. There's a bluish looking male in here, freshly molted yesterday, but I just failed to get these guys going when I pulled the couple to try and get the blue isolated. I just completely failed, and I'm not 100% sure why, but at least the colony is doing well, so I can always try and pull out of here again. Floridana, these are all Floridana localities. I just love them so much. One day I'll get them from like up North Carolina or something. Paraplaneta. Kelly Valentine, Discoidalis, just a couple of things like that, just in case there's something special. I have a colony going. All my Pycnoscelis right here. There's one of the heaters that's on all the time, so I'm trying to bump up the Phomapterus and the Rufa numbers. Lots of Nigra. Lots of Indicus from Aia. I think that's how you say that. CF Surinamensis Redlands. Thailand. U.S. Hobby. Striatus. How many species? Have you ever cohabbed firebreast thermobia with anything? Yeah, with Ground Florino oblonginata accidentally And they do kind of just tend to do that with stuff accidentally that's kept hot. Floridana truly are wonderful. How do you open the Pinivia without them all flying out? Usually stuff... Oh, that female's got kind of a bluish belly. Usually I don't really have that problem, actually. It's not a huge... That male is kind of nice, actually. That one that just crawled, that's kind of like a teal. I don't think that one's fresh, too. He's showing some interest in females. So, yeah, I'm going to have to revisit these to try and pull some blues out of them. I gotta work on it. Add it to the to-do list. Fulvescens, Alabama cross, and then maybe a dubia mutation I tossed in here, too. We're going to see if anything comes of that. It was a female with, like, little nubby wings. It could have just been a deformity, but I'm hoping it was genetic. Schwarzei, the Compsodi Schwarzei from Pina Blanca. There's a whole bunch in there. They're just underneath the wood. And then, yeah, again, you go over here, and there's all that stuff right when you come down the stairs. And then that's just half the basement. The other half is over here, although, to be fair, there's a lot of it's just space for supplies. And here's kind of just misc projects and kind of turned into the stuff from the Florida trip. Some Neohelix and Narcissus co-housed, and I just set these up with some stubborn Grantii larvae that weren't pupating, so I put them in here to try and give them some compressed substrate to encourage them to pupate. Just some mixed stuff. Again, there's a ton of Porcellio spatulatus in there, and then some gastropods from the boat launch. Broward County Chicobolus, a bunch of them. You can see the like nice Ruford color. This should say Tamarack. I haven't changed the label. New stuff I set up. Ischnoptera, some Neohelix. Venus, Florida Chicobolus are doing really well. Really happy in there. Yeah, really liking those results. Uncinata, eating some peas. The yellow form. I almost killed all my pinks. I think I kept them too moist, so I had to dial that back, and I have them in like... I have them under constant watch now. Small Gwenny stuff from Central Arkansas. You gotta let me know what you come across, and I'll let you know if I want it. Here's TJ. If you're there, here's Agassizii. They're doing good. I haven't seen any babies yet. I'm sure they'll do better in the winter. Narcissus americanus from Tallahassee. Now these, I know maybe brown is kind of boring to some people, but these are definitely very unique compared to other Narcissus that I've seen. And we just happened to find them at that one rest stop. And I think I've lost one of them, and they're just neat. They're doing well. Babies. Fat mantle slugs if I want. Goop monsters. Here's just a bunch of just dynasties and closures. Oh, do you guys need more jelly? Yeah, I'll put some more in there with those auburns. Always something to do. Always, always. Never stops. But it's kind of nice. I guess it does kind of stop because then I end up with a night like this where I can just take some time to go looking around. Pachnota Skulka enclosure inspired by a paper that gave tips for breeding setup. So I'm thinking higher heat, a little bit more diversity of diet, more oak leaf litter. We're going to see how that goes. Here's a lot of the beetles, but here's the thing. You know, everybody loves beetles. Everybody loves them. But you know what? The king of displays... The kings of display animals are roaches and isopods, I think, and that's just how it is. And people will one day open their eyes to this fact, this truth of nature. I guess the Pachnota are pretty good. They go to bed like a little bit before the lights turn off. So yeah, during the daytime there were just like maybe like 50 adult Pachnota out in each of these, and now there's, looks dead. So, new Uticella. Another male, though. I need females. It's not cool. It's not cool, bro. Not cool. Whoops. Neatus, looking pretty good. Tenebria obscurus from St. John's. Yeah, again, just a bunch of... I know I do overkill. I have like a handful of Titius larvae, and the Uticella are still out even though it's nighttime. That's interesting. We'll just see if we can see them back there on the jellies. I have just, again, like tanks full of like Dynastes Tidius larvae and stuff like that. And it's supposed to be a beetle rack, but there's a little bit of misc on here, like these web spinners from Florida City and whatnot. Here, Alan, here's the new Speciosa enclosures. This one's for the larvae. I gotta get into good shape, and then here's the adults. I'm gonna try and milk whatever babies I can out of them. Here's just like, Kyle, get off here, tuck us and take care of these bins. There's some stuff I'm just waiting to figure out what to do with, like my Trogoderma variables. I think they've crashed, so I'm just praying that some larvae and adults pop up on this paper towel, and then I'll just transfer them into the new enclosure. More miscellaneous, some assassin bugs. Just set these up today. Just finished setting these up. These Princessia van Weerbeckii or Princessia species black and white. And then I got a tentative ID on some Grylus from Lake Placid. I think they're Rubens based on the call. So, but these guys seem pretty happy to be in this new enclosure. They got lots of mushrooms. They got lots of new stuff to hide under. Gonna hopefully infest it, and we'll have those going. A couple of Pseudophilus species. These Domestica could really be doing better. I think I kept them too humid over the winter or over the summer, so they'll rebound in the winter when it dries out a little bit. Bunch of Millipedes. Once again, I asked, what huge jelly do you get, Millard? It is the Gingin brand mango coconut jelly, and I use these for stuff too sometimes. These are like the fruit puddings, whatever things, and they work pretty well for some stuff. Here's the Uncinata. Again, I almost killed them. I had to dry them out a bit. Is there a hypoallergenic chunk roach? Maybe rhino roaches? TJ asks, how are the black and whites doing? Well, you tell me. I think they were too dry over the winter time, and I think Princessia are more on the wanting things more humid side of the spectrum. So, but now we got lots of babies. So I think I picked maybe 40 babies out of the old bin and put them in here. And then, of course, any of the adults that are going to be gravid and give birth will do that. Let's see how my regular tigers are doing. Because they're on the mend, too. I almost lost them over the winter time because I think it was too dry. But what's it like now? I don't see any of them, but they're eating the peas. So that's... Oh, and here you go. Cubaris species bumblebee, and you can just see how they've infested the roach bin. It's just that easy sometimes. And yes, the mango cups are human grade. Can confirm as someone very allergic to this, I have no issues with rhinos. Oh, perfect. Actually tastes nice. Yeah, I always lick like the covers to the fruit jellies when I put them in with stuff. Oh. Tapenoma on the end there. I wonder if the Tapenoma and the Hypoponura ever go to war. That would be an interesting thing to see. Let's see. Boca Raton, Chicobulus. Finally got babies out of them after I set them up. New. Alan, your Atopochetus spinamargo have done nothing, but like they've grown slightly. Like it's been years. I don't know what I did. Maybe I had them too humid before, but there's no babies. Albino Americanus are doing good. This bin just started producing. Uriurity species, Auburn, Alabama doing really well. It's one that I saved from the brink. Riverwalks. Oh yeah, these started producing, these Riverwalk Narcissus. Chimitos, Manila Cornus looking good. Cummins eye, can't figure out. I want to die. Oh yeah, these are new. These just came in. Wild caught Spinagarus from Brooksville, Florida. I really like these, and I'm hoping they reproduce. I think I was keeping them too moist before. Boca Raton Gordonis. I set them up in a new thing again too. We'll see what happens. Elliott Keys, did you guys produce any fresh babies? Oh yeah, there's one right there. One little guy right there. Perfect. So they're getting going to the most purplish. Look at that. Actual like purple on these guys. I very rarely, I don't think I've even actually seen any other Chicobulus that have a consistent purple on their adults like that. New attempt at breeding Orthoporus ornatus. I'm trying this new setup, and I'm going to feed them mostly peas. This is just a fuster cluck of Orthomorpha subcartii. And then there's actually a ton of Narcissus americanus albino in here. Oh, there's some of them right now. I don't know how they don't apparently compete with each other. They just keep going. Those new orange from Thailand millipedes, and then a couple of other things thrown in. They've been on the dry end here of stuff. Look at that. That's a nice millipede. I hope you guys get breeding. That would be really cool. Yeah, Flavoscutarum. What else we got going on? Desmosites planata. This is the lesser quality of my two cultures. This one's been a lot more fruitful this year. Looks pretty good. Looks ripe for the Bugapalooza is what it looks like. And here, the Chicoblis spinigerus, Port St. Joe, Florida. They bred. Here's the two males, and the female still alive. There she is back there, and apparently she was breeding age, because look at all those babies looking good. So I'm proud. Do you have giant centipede? No, I don't have any large scolopendra anymore. I have Rhysida. We can take a look at those. Comanchellus chihuahuanus. I don't know how these guys are doing. They seem to do better when the air is dry outside there. I did leave a polycarp on them just in case. Benoitolus. Let's see if we'll... Oh, yeah, there we go. Cow socks, just consistent to do that with. Oh, wait, we can see if there's any surprises. Oh, yeah, look at all these Uriuridae species, Auburn, Alabama. Look at them all. I love that. And anybody else gonna fluoresce? Trying to think. Anything else that I have that other than Benoitolus? Is there a larger fluorescent species that I had? Spirobolellus should fluoresce too if we find them. Yeah, here we go. These guys definitely keeping these two moist. I don't have as many as I should given how productive they are, but they do. It's just not as exciting as the other ones, like the Uriurus. Come on, look at that. That's great. Look at those guys. Charlie asking if I have A. gigas. These are my bins with the old, like 2015 stock A. gigas, and I think I'm down to like 10, so there's like 5 in each of them, and they're like half grown, so I'm really babying them to try and get them up to size, because supposedly the stuff we have coming in right now isn't actually gigas. So I got that. Big pine keys. I threw some Orthomorpha in here to just kind of, again, to keep mold down and facilitate things, and apparently I picked... It's actually mature Orthomorpha to go in here. So, but the Chicoblis don't seem to mind, so should be fine. The Orthomorpha might burn themselves out, or I might do a full refresh once the Chicoblis get up to better size. Miami Sororinus. I still don't have that other one that, Alan, that you brought back. A bunch of people had them. Whatever that other... What was it? Parajolus or something like that from Florida that supposedly breeds really well. And oh, look at this. It's supposed to be Dick Hagler, but I have it on here because it's still the old label. But these guys are doing fantastic. One of the founders was like hypomelanistic or something, so I'm still waiting to see if that pops up in the current stock. Miami Chicobel is doing really well too. Lots of bebies in there, looking pretty good. These guys, Marion County Americanus, haven't done anything for me yet, but there's both sexes, and with my new improved regime, like there's a female, I would expect to see babies sometime soon. They won't stay without babies forever. Paraspirobolus leucifugus, yeah, Alan, those. More Sororinus. Fisheri, I think I'm just getting adults now of these guys. This is some older stock of Fisheri from a random person who emailed me, so we'll see what they do. Phytostrophus segregatus, these guys, I think I was keeping them way too moist before, so I took the polycarb off for the summer and they seem to be doing better, but I know these guys can reproduce a lot faster, so we're gonna see what happens. One of my Splendidus bins, we don't have to spend too long on those. There's a ton. Just this is a dumpster ground container. So the main thing is the Cameroon Redlegs, but these guys are actually doing pretty. I have 2 males of those in there. Bristol, Florida Americanus, just set those up. Spiroborealis, whatever. Here's the red Arboreus, doing pretty well. The set that I separated. I expect to see babies in here any day now, too. Really, I don't see any pictures that get the color good. Hi, Baloo, I love you, too. These are just, they're really pretty millipedes, but you got to edit the crap out of the photos to actually show off the true colors because it just, nothing seems to really get it right. Brachyceras, got a bunch of these too. Fortunately, it took me two sets from Orin to finally get them going well. Just set up these citrus counties again. I got some sparing captive breeding, but I want more, baby. Tylobolus coming back. Oh, we're running out of battery, guys. I have to wrap this up kind of soonish. Sumter counties, these guys bred. These like in between Gordonis. These are new. Are these the gold African giants? I only got like 1 female in a group of several that I bought. So we're going to hope she does something. Have we not looked at anything? Oh, this is just kind of the misc rack. It's where the grain pets and such reside. Little projects, things like that. Oh, the Mesium crop is looking pretty good. Any Rhysida out? None in here. This was supposed to be a Labrador Rhyperia colony, but then they just freaking died. I wonder if they don't like eating isopods, actually. But the African earwigs are doing pretty well in here. They're definitely eating the isopods, so that's good. And they all came from 1 red female, so I'm hoping that that it's a heritable phenotype. Let's see. This is the Rhysida species Nigeria blue legs, and these bred communally. I'm surprised I don't see any out. And here's Cameroonian Rhysida longipes. Again, just some mixed stuff down here. Bean beetles and various whatever's projects just residing down here. What is this? Larder beetles. Hopefully not being swallowed up by grain mites or something. I'll be checking these sometime soon. But let's just see if there's any Rhysida Nigeria blue legs, if we can find any babies in here. Nope. Kind of weird. Again, I would have thought that a good watering would have brought them out, but I guess not. If I water super heavy, they'll freak out and come out, but I won't do that until winter. So many web spinners, and that must be a punished cockroach that I put in there. Euborrelias, Baravas, everything's looking pretty good. Pretty good in general. So I got 2 Gibiums to see if they like the Nyptis style setup. I got this one, and then I've got this style setup. So sewer fairies. Here's my Jimbos from Holly. Lovely little Jimbos. And then Usazoros hubbardi from Montgomery. This is from the spring trip, and they're really doing well in here. Pantsless Gestroi. I don't know what that's interesting. I'm curious to see pictures, Gwenny. But anyways, guys, I'm running out of battery here, and I feel like we just whipped through a chunk of my collection, but like it went so fast. Oh, here's the CF Tessellata, 1 female up there. Bro, you are gonna have to do tutorials on how you catch stuff. You just go out and you just do it. You just do it. It's kind of how it is. I can't believe these ate through everything. Here's the Hidden Lake Homestead elm. They really rebounded. But yeah, I mean, we could. I hope to one day, maybe sooner than later, start doing like husbandry streams as I work for my sanity, and that would just be plowing through all of these things and talking and commenting and see how that goes. No emeralds tonight. Those are up in the office, the old office. This is all just the big basement bug room, but now you guys can see what I've been working with for since 2017, and I've filled up every crack of it. And depending on how timelines for things go, I may have to start getting creative again to keep finding space down here. But I'm sure some space could be squeezed out of everything. So yeah, hey, we got 17 likes. That's great. Thank you guys for all joining me again. I just gotta finish packing an order and then get to bed. And yeah, so you guys, we did it. It wasn't hours and hours, but we finally did it. We went out and we did a stream of the basement bug room. There's stuff in the garage. There's stuff in the living room still. Not that much in the living room, but stuff in the living room, and of course the office. The office has a much higher species per square foot density than the basement because you can fit a lot. I mean, you can see how many isopods you can fit on one of those racks, and there's like 3-4-ish racks worth of stuff up in there. But yeah, it's a lot of isopods, guys. It's a ton of isopods. So yeah, hey, for those of you out there who are like, man, how will I ever have all the cool bugs? I don't have any space. It's like, look at this. What's the math on this? I didn't think I'd be doing math right now. Okay, it's 12, 24, 36, 48. I think I'm doing the math right. 60. So it's 60 containers per rack. Some things have multiple species in them too. That's the other thing. So you could have, in this amount of space, you could have a collection of 60 species. That'd be the cat's meow, I think. Critter keeper auger. Yeah, whenever, it's funny, you can tell which ones I got off of like eBay, or not eBay. What am I, a millennial? They're all the blue and orange and pink lidded ones, but then I've cobbled some together from Petco when they've had their like sick fish emergency tanks. So there's that. There's some old faunariums recycled into here, and there's some other weird ones. There's like a gray one somewhere that somebody gave me, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just use this. Yeah, like this. Where did this come from? It's so different from all the other ones that they produce. So anyways, guys, we're running out of battery. So thank you for joining me. I hope you guys got a kick out of this, and maybe more people will come and check this out when it goes up as a dead stream. But until next time, everybody, like mine, may your cultures ever be bountiful. Good night, everybody.